Yo, 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 what is up? What is up? It's King. We're back. We're in the building with another Coffee and Sports Morning Show. Got my guys, Coach Dante and Brett is here this morning. What is going on, y'all?
What's good? What's good? What's good? I am so goddamn happy. Got my coffee this morning. Astros won the World Series. It's been a blast this weekend. I'm ready to get it going. Let's get it going.
Brett, what's going on? I mean, I don't like your Packers, but at least you got your Bucks to be thankful for. You muted.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's just say I was at the bar watching the Packer game. It was very depressing.
All right, now let's get into things here, the nitty gritty. So we got a lot on the agenda today. We'll see if we can get through all of it. But should either way, it's going to be a bang bang show. Last night, recapping the Tennessee Titans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, Patrick Mahomes gets the job done late in overtime against the Tennessee Titans, 20-17. Um, Kansas City was definitely struggling that game, but when it mattered, came down to the last wire. Patrick Mahomes does what he does, and Riley's back. Now Derrick Henry, 17 carries, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. Malik Willis, 5 of 16, only 80 yards. Really, none of his receivers really didn't do much. Um, So Mahomes gets it done, and Mahomes does improve to 6-2, even though Tennessee's record's not bad, 5-3. But here's my question to y'all: Is Mahomes the front runner for MVP?
I don't know if he is. I don't know if he's front runner for MVP. He's gonna be up there at the end of the day in the MVP discussion. But golly, 68 passes for Patrick Mahomes last night. My goodness gracious, man. Hey, 400, almost threw for 500 yards. Put the team on his back last night with the rushing touchdown last night. Also, Travis Kelsey 10 for 106 last night. The defense stepped up pretty good. Only gave up 17 points to Tennessee, but that was mostly because of Malik Willis went 5 of 16, and you're not gonna beat elite team throwing 16 passes or just throwing 10 passes throughout the whole game. And Derrick Henry was on all night long, and every yard Derrick Henry got, Kansas City kind of made him work for it. But give credit to Kansas City defense for keeping them in the game for Patrick Mahomes to come back and steal it. But Patrick Mahomes is going to be a part of the MVP discussion. I think when you're talking about MVP discussion, you have Geno Smith a part of that discussion, and you have of course Patrick Mahomes a part of that discussion. You have Lamar Jackson a part of that discussion. So I mean, it can go either way, but Patrick Mahomes definitely did his thing when he needed to do. And just give credit to that Kansas City Chiefs defense last night.
Right? What did you think about Mahomes last night throwing 68 passes, almost 500 yards, having to do what he has to do to make sure his team wins?
No, yeah, I kind of agree with what Coach said. I thought Mahomes he played well. As for being the MVP, you can certainly make that argument. His passing stats are better than Josh Allen's, and they have the same exact record. So whichever way you want to go with that, I don't really have an issue with it. It what I think what impressed me the most is somehow that the Titans didn't have a completion to a wide receiver last night. It was all the tight ends and running backs. And when your wide receivers are that much of a non-factor, when they're literally not even making any catches for you, it's pretty much going to be impossible to beat a good team like the Chiefs. They still almost pulled it out because Derrick Henry is an absolute menace. But at the end of the day, yeah, I thought the Titans, for the most part, they played well, but unfortunately, their wide receivers let them down in the end. And Malik Willis, they Malik Willis played. I don't know how to say it. He played exactly how like we expected them to, especially going against elite Kansas City team. Yeah, the Titans. But
Most definitely. I mean, the Titans is so I feel like they're just so one dimensional right now. Like we all know who they're going to give the ball to. Who are they throwing to? Robert Woods. Um, Traylon Burks is hurt. Who else are they really throwing to? We all know they have Derrick Henry. They're going to feed him the ball. My next segue question into this is Derrick Henry the only offense that the Tennessee Titans has, and would that be an issue later on of how much of the workload he's gonna have? He's having right now.
Yep, he's pretty much the only weapon that they got. Malik Willis can't throw the ball. Malik Willis can't throw the ball. You seen what he did against my Texans? Only 10 passes. But when you're going against a elite team like the Kansas City Chiefs, 5 of 16 can't complete a pass. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt you against very good teams, against the teams like the Bills, like Kansas City. You can't always rely on Derrick Henry. And that's why the part of the reason, he got hurt last year, because he was so reliant upon him to bail you out of things. And you got to have that quarterback that can find a way, that can beat you. You got to have that quarterback that can make plays, whether if it's with his legs and with his arms. You just got to have that quarterback. And Malik Willis right now is not it. It's a reason why he's a backup. It's a reason why he got drafted in the third round when everybody thought he would go in the first round. It's a reason for everything. So Malik Willis not getting the job done, and Derrick Henry is the only offense. You stop Derrick Henry, they basically beat the Titans. The receivers not getting open. The receivers can't step up. Robert Woods has not been the same since the ACL injury. All they got is Derrick Henry. So, got to spread that ball around when you're going against elite guys. And right now, Malik Willis just atrocious right now. He's just atrocious, and he just cannot make plays.
yeah, I agree with that. He at this point in time he is definitely the only offense on that team. And it could be an issue for him potentially getting injured workload wise. And it could also be an issue just in case make it they sneak into the playoffs somehow. Because at the end of the day, if your only weapon is Derrick Henry, every single good team you run into is just going to load the box and make you beat them. So they need to find somebody or some way to start scheming guys open and getting some of these other receiving weapons involved, if you can even call them weapons at this point.
The Key must have got up out of there. He must have got up out of there.
Yeah,
So, go ahead.
No, say I was gonna ask, what do you think of the Jets defense?
Oh, my bad. I was on mute the whole time. Y'all could have
Oh,
told me.
My bad.
No, so exactly what y'all was saying that was one dimensional with Derrick Henry. Look what happened with them in the playoffs last year. What happened? One and done.
Yep.
Derrick Henry, they rushed Derrick Henry back too early, in my opinion, last year. That's the game where they sacked Joe Burrow 9 times and still lost. So I just feel like after AJ Brown left, y'all did nothing to compliment Derrick Henry or Ryan Tannehill. Who is Tannehill throwing to? Tannehill's hurt right now, so you got to put a rookie in Malik Willis. What are you showing him, or what weapons do you have for him to even succeed moving forward? If Tannehill's not going to be your guy, you put the ball in Malik Willis' hands. Who is he throwing to? What does Tennessee have to do in the offseason to get guys in here? Why didn't they do anything during the trading deadline?
Tennessee, like I say again, I don't know if they didn't expect Ryan Tannehill to get hurt. Um, He could have got another wide receiver, because Robert Woods, like I say, is not the same ever since he's to his ACL. But I mean, I'm gonna give Malik Willis a little bit more time. He's just not ready this year. All he got is his legs. And people know that they take his legs away from. He cannot beat him with his arm. So I'm gonna give him a bit more time. He was thrown up in the fire. He thrown up in the fire because of Ryan Tannehill got hurt. And he just doesn't look ready right now. And you could make an argument. Traylon Burks is hurt. They could have got a wide receiver that can help him out, but right now they didn't. They just got to move on forward with the team that they got right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. At the end of the day, in the off season, maybe see what you can do to add a weapon or two. This is a deep draft class. Maybe see if you can find a good wide receiver there. But yeah, they don't really have many options unless they can convince maybe someone like OBJ to sign for him. But I don't think OBJ is going to Tennessee. So
I mean, Tennessee got Denver, the Packers, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Jags, Chargers, Texans, Cowboys, and then the Jags again. Um, right now they're 5-3. Who would have thought that? But moving forward, they can't keep riding Derrick Henry. We all know that's who the ball's going to go to. Their defense isn't half bad. So I do give some credit on the defensive side of the ball for Tennessee. But offensively, if you don't have a quarterback that can throw at least, or try to win you some games and not rely so much on Derrick Henry, they just one dimensional right now. They're going to have to make Malik Willis throw. Now Tannehill is a different story because again, he's a veteran, but he makes mistakes too as well. Um, so definitely, so Mahomes they rally back, and the Chargers are in the driver's seat. I mean, not the Chargers. The Chiefs are in the driver's seat over there in the AFC West. Um, let's swing into the AFC East here. We did see the Jets get an upset yesterday over the Bills. Um, so the question to y'all: do the Jets have one of the best defenses right now?
Right now, man, if you look at that defense, when I was watching that, calling that game, that defense is amazing. I mean, Tremaine Johnson was all over the place. Now, Sauce Gardner, after he got burnt for that 50-yard on Stephon Diggs, he wasn't on
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Diggs anymore. They didn't have him covering Stephon Diggs, but he did make a nice play on Gabe Davis at the end of the game. He did catch a pick. Josh Allen actually played terrible in that game. He didn't play good at all. He started out with a pick, with an interception on a ball he should never thrown, and he got baited on the pick against Sauce Gardner. So he really had one of his worst games of the season. They couldn't get the run going in the second half. And the Jets, James Robinson and Michael Carter, the Bills got a heavy dose to them in that second quarter. In that second half, they warmed down. They warmed down on the run game. Um, what you call it? Zach Wilson made some throws to help him out. The throw to Denzel Mims on a slant. He finally caught a ball for a big first down, and then he ended up throwing a screen pass to James Robinson to give them a 17-14 lead. So at the end of the day, man, Zach Wilson didn't turn the ball over. He made some throws. He managed the game how he's supposed to manage the game. And when you don't turn the ball over against a Bills defense like that, and then you can run the ball against a Bills defense, even though they had Matt Milano out, Bills still got a capable defense in Von Miller, and you able to run the ball like that, man, that is key. And like I say, the Jets, they got a big win yesterday. The Jets are 2-1. The Jets are 2-1. Miami Dolphins are 2-1. The Bills lost most of their game, or 0-2, and guess what their games were in? They 0-2 in the division. They lost every game so far in the division, and right now, I like the direction this Jets team is going in. And hey, this defense is good. Robert Saleh was a defensive coordinator in San Francisco, so he got this defense flying around the ball. Quinn Nelson, Williams. He got Tremaine Johnson. This secondary is playing very good. Whitehead, who had the first interception of the game. This defense is really solid, man. I gotta give him credit. This defense looks good, man.
Brett, your thoughts on the Jets defense?
yeah, I was gonna say they've been playing phenomenal, and to build on the secondary, I know Pro Football Focus isn't always a perfect measuring tool, but out of their 110 ranked cornerbacks, they have three Jets cornerbacks all in the top 15. Sauce is ranked fourth, DJ Reed Jr. is ranked seventh, and Michael Carter is ranked 15th. So yeah, no, they're all just playing phenomenal. Quinnen Williams is ranked third among D tackles. Yeah, say not to mention Robert Sala's just got this team clicking and firing on all cylinders right now. So Yeah, I would say absolutely this is one of the top defenses in the NFL, and like even Pro Football Focus, once again, they have them ranked first. You can, it's debatable if you think they're ranked first or not. That's cool, but we can't really deny at this point that they are just indeed one of the best defenses in the NFL at this current moment.
And most definitely, everybody was questioning seeing if Sauce was actually the real deal. He hasn't had a touchdown on him since high school. But they, of course, Stephon Diggs is going to test him early. He got burnt, but after that, he pretty much was quiet after that. But Sauce Gardner definitely one of those top rookie defensive players, along with Stingley Jr. and Tariq Woolen over there in Seattle. Um, but no, shout out to the Jets. They did get that big win. Is the AFC East looking pretty good now?
Yep, with the Dolphins, Jets, and with the Dolphins, Jets, and Bills looking like hot ale. That's a good division. And what the Patriots, they over 500 too. So that division looks better and better and better, man. So that division is open right now between those four teams. It's a dogfight right now. So hey, man, give credit to the Jets on how they've been playing. And the Dolphins got a win. They got a win yesterday. And the Patriots had a win yesterday, had a big win yesterday. So this division look like it can go down to the wire, man.
Just how close this division is right now. So the Buffalo Bills are 6-2. The Jets and Miami both are 6-3, and the New England is 5-4. So it's definitely close in this division right now. But Buffalo hasn't won any divisional games yet, so that definitely can come into play when it comes down to who's going to win that division. All right, so we've seen the Bucks. They've been on a losing streak as well. The Bucks finally get a win yesterday over the Los Angeles Rams. Tom Brady, has he saved the Buck season?
Uh, he say the Buck season pretty much from yesterday. Most of that was doing because the Rams helped them out. I think Cooper Cup could have had got that first. Cooper Cup could have got the first down if he wanted to get the first down. That would have forced him to burn a couple of timeouts. I probably even won the game. But you got to give credit to the Bucks defense and Tom Brady getting the ball down the field, throwing it to Scotty Miller, throwing it to Scotty Miller and everything. And then Autumn had some big catches. Tom Brady just took him there. Give credit to Byron Leftwich. You see after the game how inspirational they were. How inspirational they were yesterday. They seemed so happy, so thrilled. So give them credit. Give the Buccaneers credit, man. They fought hard, and right now they keep their season alive, man. They're 4-5. The Falcons lost yesterday, 4-5. They have the same record. They're still in it, and then, I'm not holding out my pick. I think the Buccaneers are still may get in that playoffs, but I think they're gonna find that groove. I think Tom Brady's gonna figure it out, and this is a good stepping stone for him.
Yeah, no, they definitely played well. Brady played fantastic. The defense played fantastic. As far as saving the season, I thought they were going to make the playoffs anyway. Their biggest competition right now is the Falcons in the South, so I figured they were going to make it. I still very much so have questions about the running game and if they can get that going, because I don't think it's really they can continue to have Tom Brady throw the ball 58 times every game and expect a great result. So I do think they played well. I'm not discrediting them. I just think in order to really make a deep playoff run, they need to find a way to get that run game going. That's got to be a priority, because otherwise they're just going to key on the pass as soon as the playoffs start, and it's going to be a quick exit for the Buccaneers.
And it looked like Mike Evans. Mike Evans is still balling, even after all the stuff that's going on. I know his injuries and things of that nature, but he's still a manageable uh wide receiver in this league. And he missed some key drops as well in that game, as well. He missed one last week that was wide open. I don't get how he dropped that. But the Patriots do get the job done against the Buccaneers. I mean, the Buccaneers get the job done against the Rams, 16-13. Again, Brady throwing almost 60 yards, almost 60 passes for only 280 and a touchdown. Um, the crazy part is Mike Evans wasn't even the leading receiver. He was throwing to whoever Cade Otton is, the tight end, another Gronkowski. Have no clue who this guy is, but he was throwing, and he was catching. So Brady always make people you never heard of into somebody, and this is a clear example right here. Scotty Miller was the next receiver, leading receiver, then Fournette, and then it was Mike Evans. So this shows that Tampa Bay really ain't got nobody to throw to either. But about this Rams, what is going on with the Rams? Like they continue to slide down.
They offense just fell off a cliff. I don't know what the hell happened to the Rams. We complained earlier about what you call him not getting the ball of Allen Robinson. I thought he was going to be a big piece to this team. I thought he was going to help this team out. He has been a frustrating piece. The running backs has been more frustrated because they haven't gotten the ball enough. Matthew Stafford decision making. The only good thing about the Rams, Cooper Kupp right now. Cooper Kupp continues to be consistent for the Los Angeles Rams. Their defense did play good yesterday, even though that was a big holding call by Darion Kendrick, the fourth rounder out of Georgia, on Mike Evans, and that clearly was a pass interference call because he held him on his waist. But this team has not scored on offense. They struggle on the offensive side. Their defense been on the field too much, and overall, man, it's been a struggle as a team, man. You can't get to the quarterback that much. Von Miller proven to be a missing piece of that puzzle on that defensive line. And hey, man, this team is just a frustrating team, and they're disappointed. They're a disappointing team in this league right now, along with the Las Vegas Raiders, who are the biggest disappointment. But I don't get up in them. I ain't picking them. No, I'm not picking them no more. I'm glad I picked against them yesterday. But other than that, yeah, this has been a disappointing team, man. This offense has been terrible all year long.
Yeah,
So
I definitely agree with that. I think one of the biggest issues a lot of the time with Matthew Stafford is you saw it when he had like Calvin, and now he's doing it again with Cup. I get it if you have an elite wide receiver, you want to target him more than everybody else, but a lot of the times he's just locking right into Cooper Cup and not looking anybody else's way, which I get it. Cooper Cup is one of the best receivers in the NFL. That's not a debate. But you still have to make sure you are getting these other guys involved. Like Cooper Cup had about like 10 targets yesterday. Allen Robinson was next with 5. And you see that trend. It's just, to me, he's just locking onto Cup and then just not looking anybody else's way, and that's just going to end up hurting the offense as a whole. And as far as the run game, Cam Akers is just bad. He's ever since he came back from that Achilles injury, he just hasn't been explosive. He came back in that playoff run and averaged 2.5 yards a carry, and now he's averaging like 2.6 on the year, 2.8. At the end of the day, he's just not explosive. He's just not a good back.
is that why you think they're kind of leaning on not using him now?
Yeah, he's just not the same player he was before the Achilles injury. Before the Achilles injury, he's averaging over 4 yards a carry, and now it's down to 2.5. Why am I going to bother giving it to a back that's only going to get 2 yards a carry?
And we got my guy Freddie's in the building. What's going on, Freddie?
What's going on? What's going on? I just got to ask, Brad and Dante a question. They said that Tom Brady had a good game yesterday. I'm trying to see where. That they didn't play good. Well, where did they play
No,
good at?
I said he had an okay game, not a good game. I said he had an okay
Well, I
game.
think it
He
was
did
Brady
enough.
might have said it because he played horrible. That Bucks team played horrible. Both teams look horrible. When you throw the ball 60 times and only have 200 something yards, that's horrible. Um, the Bucks are just lucky that they're playing a horrible Rams team. The Rams team that can't play defense. That look like their defense have not awakened. Jalen Ramsey and those guys look awful. The Rams have no running game. I've been saying that for weeks now. Matthew Stafford is not the same Matthew Stafford we got last year. He's not even close to it. I mean, hey, bro, it's playing two horrible teams, and it took the last play to get. Took the last drive for them to beat them. So I'm just gonna say two bad teams equals to a bad game.
I'll say, Freddie, you are correct. I did use a bad word. I was kind of aiming towards fine,
Okay,
okay, average, but no, I did say good. That was on me. That's not accurate.
yeah, I'm about to say. I Coach Dante could have went out there and thrown the football 60 times and would have 400 yards. I believe. I believe that.
That's definitely interesting. 58 passes and you only have like 200 something yards. That means he was checking down half them times.
Hey, that's who Tom Brady is, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Tom Brady, at this point of his career, he needs to be a game managing quarterback. You don't need Tom Brady going out there throwing the football 40, 50 times a game. You just don't need that. You need him to be a game managing quarterback with a running game and with his receivers getting open when they need to get open, and they depend on their defense. That's what Tom Brady is at this point in time. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Ah, Freddie, it seemed like you came in just in the right time
Oh,
to
I
talk
bet I
about
did.
Mr. Rogers.
Oh Lord, it's time for me to go now.
Is it time to shut down Aaron Rodgers? Fifth games in a row he's lost, and he lost to the Lions. Four interceptions yesterday for Rodgers. Is it time to shut him down?
It's time. It is time. And I'm not making an excuse for him what I'm about to say, because what I've done is done. Him taking the money, that's done. Him losing Devontae Adams, that's done. But I said this last week. Green Bay do not deserve that man. And in your later in his later years, we need to see him playing in big moments. And Green Bay is not set up to is not a team to set up to play in big moments right now. They're really not. Um, their defense don't look decent. Their defense don't look respectful right now. They don't know if they want to be a running team or they want to be a passing team. With all due respect, that could go towards Aaron Rodgers. That could be something that he's changing the plays. And if that is the case, that means that him and Matt Lafleur, their relationship isn't squeaky clean as everybody think it is. Um, their defensive coordinator, I think they have the players. I think it's the defensive coordinators just not calling the right plays. It's not scheming well for him. This might be his last year. Aaron Rodgers got to take some blame where his play is. How many interceptions he threw yesterday? I want to know when was the last time he threw that many interceptions in a football game. That would be very interesting. He don't look like the same Aaron Rodgers. He don't look like a guy that can protect the football. He's not a guy that's going to go out there and throw the fancy passes. I mean, he just something is wrong and something needs to be changed. And hey, like I said, he need to get up out of Green Bay. Just because we don't need to see the greatest moments left in him go down the way it's going right now. So I would sit him. I would request a trade. I would not touch the football field. Hell, I will go play Jeopardy for the rest of the season until you trade me.
So to answer your question, Freddie, the last time Aaron Rodgers has thrown for three interceptions, 2017
Hmm.
was the last
Soon,
time.
sooner than I thought it was. Because he's not a guy that throws a lot of interceptions.
So it's almost 5 years. Dante, is it time to shut? Is it Jordan Love time?
I don't like I said again. I'm not a high fan on Jordan Love. I'm not that high on Jordan Love. But right now, man, it doesn't look good for this Packers offense. Now, like I said, I'm gonna go a different route than Freddie go. I think the defense is solid. The defense is fine. I don't think nothing wrong with the defense. The offense can't put the points on the board. When your offense can't do anything, your defense is on the field a long time. The defense was on the field 34 minutes yesterday. And this offense, they were by the goal line, and he's throwing the ball across the field. You can't run the ball to the right side and just throw it back to the left side and throw and person just jump in front of a person, just catch the ball. You can't do that. That's not Aaron Rodgers been in the league too long just to throw a ball across his body and across the field. You've been in the league too long. Like I say, Aaron Rodgers got to hold it, man. At the same time, you don't really have the receiving core to even get open. Your best receiver right now is your best two is Romeo Dobbs and Robert Tonyan. Those are your best two guys right there. You're not even giving. It's almost like you're not even giving Aaron Jones enough carries. You're not even giving them the football. So you rely strictly on Aaron Rodgers to beat someone with his arm, and it's not going to happen. But you don't got the receiving core to make that happen anymore. So again, that's a lot of stress on Aaron Rodgers' arm. That's a lot of opportunities for this defense to get interceptions. And I mean, the Packers offense is predictable right now. They're not running the ball. So again, you're keying on the pass strictly. You're not scared of the run game because Matt LaFleur is not putting that stress off Aaron Rodgers' arm. And I say it resulting into bad decision making, bad turnovers. Receivers are not getting wide open. Receivers not catching the ball. Offense is a mess. And like I say, Rashawn Gary got hurt yesterday. He tore his ACL up, so that's even damaging for this Packer defense. But I gotta like I say, this Packers defense has been fine. The offense has not been good at all. The offense has not been good. So you don't got the weapons on offense. You just don't have the horses on the offensive side of the ball to compete right now.
Yeah, it's time to shut them down. It's time to start going for a draft pick if you're Green Bay. One of the biggest reasons is I think it was reported that Rashawn Gary tore an ACL yesterday.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, our defense has been playing fine, and that's almost my issue with them. To me, this should have been a grade to elite squad this year, and we are playing fine. I do think that we are more talented than how we look most weeks. I can't put all the blame on them because our offense has been so awful. But I do think that if we got a different coordinator, I don't think Joe Barry's the answer. I do think that we need to get rid of him. We have a lot of like cornerbacks like Stokes, Alexander, Douglas. They're all man press corners, and he likes to play in this soft zone, and it just hasn't been working. So yeah, I do agree with Freddie on that. I think Barry needs to get out. I just think we need to find a coordinator that's gonna use this personnel more to their strengths. And I agree with the run game too. Even before the season started, one of my big takeaways with this offense was we just don't have the weapons to pass the ball 40 times a game. We need to run the ball 30 times a game, and then have a more balanced offense. Get Rodgers under center, so the play action looks more deadly and get some more easier throws to him. But at the end of the day, too, Aaron Rodgers is just underthrowing and missing a lot of balls. He's just not on the money this year. I mean, you look at his 3 interceptions yesterday. The first one, it hit off the guy's helmet. But even if it doesn't hit off his helmet, that was closer to the linebacker in coverage than the actual receiver. So that's either incompletion or a pick, even if that doesn't get deflected. I'd say the deep throw that he had, he was just staring him down the entire time. So, and then the other one, I was questioning why we weren't running it to begin with. So I would actually love to see Jordan Love at this point, because I agree with you, Dante. I don't think he's the answer either. But at the end of the day, we traded up in the first round to get him.
So that year you should have got a wide receiver. That was the year you supposed to got a wide receiver. And you traded in the first round to get Jordan Love.
Yeah, absolutely. And instead we get Jordan Love and Josiah DeGuara. Cool, let's draft backups all of a sudden. It's fantastic. So just for that sole purpose alone, yeah, let's bench Rodgers. Let's see what Jordan Love has to offer. Because I don't think he's very good, but if we're going to trade up in the first round to get him and pass on every single great wide receiver that was available, then yeah, sure, let's see what he's got.
What's up, Damien? I see you in the comments trolling. It's always good to see you, sir.
You can't argue with people. I mean, not argue, but you especially Damien.
He's trolling
um,
early this morning.
yeah, it's too early to be trolling, but no, it's just weird. Like you have Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, and still Brett Favre is throwing on the 4 yard line. Like, I don't understand it. We was begging for Aaron Rodgers to run the ball yesterday. Run the ball yesterday. Aaron Jones gets hurt as well, but they're saying his injuries is fine. He'll be okay. Um, Packers players were just dropping like flies yesterday. That was another issue. The people was getting hurt, but 15-9, and you couldn't beat a Lions team. A 2-6 Lions team. You couldn't beat a 2-6 Lions team. Depending on how many more games that Green Bay win, they might be in the first round. They might get a draft pick this season. So hopefully they can go out and get one of those receivers. But AJ Dillon only 11 carries, Aaron Jones 9. You're not going to win games this way. And Brett Favre throwing 43 times, 3 picks. You're not going to win no ball games like this. Um. So yeah, I think it's time to sit Aaron. I mean, he's doing what he can. I know Lazard got hurt yesterday, but he came back in. But y'all not going to the playoffs, so why not see what Jordan Love has?
So
Not
even if
going
we
nowhere.
let's say even if we do go to the playoffs, what's the best case scenario? Getting bounced in the wild card round? Like I'm good. Just give me a high playoff or give me a high draft pick at that point. I knew we weren't doing anything on that game-winning drive. As soon as I saw that first Rodgers pass sail into the end zone, I was like, Aaron, you have 2 timeouts. You have 40 seconds. You can work the entire field. But nope, second pass, end zone. Third pass, end zone. Fourth pass, end zone. Like, he just tried to play hero ball, especially on that game winning drive. And that just proves to be costly all the time for us this year.
Dumb turnovers and fumbles was ridiculous yesterday. Not just in that game, but some other key games as well. That came down to final possessions. And y'all want to turn balls over and stuff. But shout out to Anthony and chat. Um, for number 89, Mercedes Lewis. Um, big tight end, veteran guy over there in Green Bay. But yeah, I say just put Jordan Love in again. Y'all not going nowhere. See what he can do. Um, we already addressed the whole Cam Akers situation. It's just not. He's just not been the same guy. So yesterday we had the Bengals go up against the Panthers team, and the Bengals absolutely destroyed the Panthers. Was it just that Joe Mixon was that good yesterday, or was that really, really bad Panthers?
The Panthers are awful. They're dead awful. I mean, they're a bad football team. I mean, there's nothing. There's not. I mean, hey, it's a field shell field day against the Panthers. Let's just be honest. I'm not gonna talk too much on them because they're not worthy of to be talked about.
But Joe Mixon, 22 carries, 153
And
yards,
and I hear a lot of Bengals fans is very happy that that finally happened. That their run game finally came through with Joe Mixon. By the way,
5 touchdowns total from Joe Mixon, a receiving touchdown, and he had 4 rushing. Again, no Chase. Chase, he still was injured. But you still had T. Higgins, still had Tyler Boyd. What? So finally, Joe Mixon is showing up. Is this what the Bengals should have been doing all along, Dante, running with Joe Mixon?
I don't know if that would have helped them in the Cleveland game, so it'll be hard to answer that question because they were getting dominated from the start of that game. I don't know if that would have helped them during the Cleveland game, but if it's any team you supposed to work on that, it was yesterday. Because yesterday that wasn't no game. That was a damn scrimmage that they played yesterday. That was a scrimmage game, and just go move on to the next question. Just move on to the next question. That was a scrimmage game yesterday.
Yeah, I was gonna say the answer to that really is why not both. The Panthers are just atrocious, and Mixon has always been a phenomenal dual threat back. So yeah, I'm gonna go with they're both Panthers are terrible. Mixon is just phenomenal.
It got so bad yesterday. PJ Walker only had nine. He only had 9 yards.
And I
Not,
posted that on Twitter. I posted that on Twitter yesterday. I mean, it was just horrendous. You had 9 yards on two interceptions. Two interceptions. The quarterback situation is bad. The team is bad overall. I don't want to see how you build around DJ Moore with this type of team. Matt Corral's not coming back anytime soon, so it's just a dumpster fire over there. Just a dumpster fire, and that game was a scrimmage game. That was not actual game. It was like a scrimmage game, a little league scrimmage game.
I mean, they did put Baker Mayfield in, and he did come in garbage time and scored, 2 touchdowns. And then I heard they activated Sam Darnold, so we just it just can't get no worse than this for the Panthers. But we all know they're not going nowhere. 2-7, they'll get another draft pick coming up. Um, but Joe Mixon was phenomenal. They got to the point where they even put the backup quarterback in for Joe Burrow. So yeah, it was just a like Dante said, that was a scrimmage. Um, the Panthers looked like my son's high school football team the other night, except they scored points. My son's team didn't, but the Panthers did. That was the only difference. Um, so had the Arizona Cardinals dug themselves a hole too deep that they cannot get out of right now.
I didn't think they were making the playoffs anyway. I didn't think that was coming in the season. I didn't think they were making the playoffs anyway. I know DeAndre Hopkins, that was gonna hurt him coming into the season, and that did. Now that he's back, he's still being productive. And guess what? There is still not winning games. So at the end of the day, Cliff Kingsbury is gonna be fired. He's gonna be fired. Mark my words. I'm saying this now. He's gonna be fired, and Freddie's gonna have to get this clip again, and we're gonna play it again to the honor and memory of Cliff Kingsbury. This will be his last year coaching the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing with this Arizona team. Kyler Murray begged for all of his money in the offseason, and this team is 3-6. And Cliff Kingsbury is the target for this team being 3-6. But Kyler Murray has not been playing well this year. He's been inconsistent. I was looking more for them to get into the running game with Connor. That has not worked out. This whole team has not worked out as a whole. So Cliff Kingsbury, this will be his last year coaching the Arizona Cardinals. But DeAndre Hopkins, he has been playing pretty well since he's been missing those 6 games. It looked like he's coming out and he's playing like top 6, top 10 receiver again. So he has not missed a beat, but I do not like this Arizona Cardinals team. I didn't like them coming into the season. I didn't have them even make them playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coach. Hey man, Kyler Murray. This is who Kyler Murray is. If you go by the stats is pretty much similar to every year that he's played in the NFL so far. He's a guy that can put up numbers, but it don't lead to winning. And you know there's a problem when your organization put out that you must study in your contract. I mean, there's a problem. We know, it's a problem when they put those things in your contract. And right now, it don't look good for Kyler Murray. Cliff Kingsbury definitely need to go. I thought they should have fired him last year. Having the rumbles they had last year. But yeah, I don't see him making it past this year at all. And this is a team that they went all in. They loaded up on the defense and on the offensive end, and expected this team to make a great push, and that have not been the case. And right now, it don't look good that you're playing horrible, and the Seattle Seahawks, who traded Russell Wilson, is number one in that division.
Brett, your thoughts on Cardinals?
Yeah, I wasn't very high on the Cardinals either, making the playoffs this year. For starters, they're in a very tough division to start with. But now they're 3-6. In order to crack the worst team right now, I think in the wild cards, I think is like 4-4. And I just don't think that this Kyler Kingsbury duo is good enough to catch them. I don't think they're good enough to make it. I mean, plus we should have seen the Kyler struggles coming. The new Call of Duty just got released, so it makes sense. But all jokes aside, yeah, I don't think that they're making the playoffs, and I do agree that I think Kingsbury has to be gone after the season.
So what can during the off season? What has to change for this Cardinals team to be successful?
You start with Cliff Kingsbury. He got to go. And then you address the running game, like Coach said. If Connor's your guy, then cool. If not, hey, then you need to you need to make a decision on that. And then hey, it comes down to Kyler Murray. You have to get it done. So
Dante.
Yep, like I was saying, and Freddie just said it. It starts with the coach. It starts with the coach, and it starts with the coach that you bring in. Start by getting the running back. What if it's in the draft or free agency? Because James Conner cannot stay healthy, and Kyler Murray, he's gonna have to play better football. You want to have $280 million, $280 million. You want to beg for that, but to go out there and be consistent and not put wins up on the board. Hey, but I know he's not going anywhere anytime soon. But it started with Coach Kingsbury. He will be fired, whether if it's at the end of the season or whether if it's in the off season, he will be fired. This will be his last year. But it starts at the running back position as well. You gotta and AJ Green is deteriorating. You got to get another. I think you're gonna need probably another wide receiver as well. He's deteriorating. I think he's on a 1 year cheap little deal, so you can replace him as well. And Marquise Hollywood Brown, he's been on and off the field. He can't stay on the field either. So you got some. You could. They got some work to do. They got some work to do, and that defense ain't that good. That defense ain't that good. 31 points to Seattle. That defense has been inconsistent. They got a lot of adjustments to make on both sides of the ball.
And definitely, because you still got some talented guys over there. I still don't think Kyler is worth all that money. I still think this should have been the year he had to go prove it. And if Kyler's not that guy, then the Cardinals need to move on from him if he can't do it. But it's kind of too late now because he kind of did sign that big contract. But in my opinion, I don't think Kyler Murray should have won that money. Honestly, he's gonna cry and complain. I would have just let him do whatever. He wouldn't have got that deal from me. He had to prove it. Last year, you didn't have a DeAndre Hopkins in the playoffs, but you still had capable weapons that you still could have at least won or got past that second round, but you couldn't even do that. Um, so, and then their defense isn't that bad. I don't think, but the Cardinals not going nowhere. They just definitely need to start with the head coach and Clint Kiss, yeah, Cliff Kingsbury. Um, needs to definitely go. So the Raiders, Raiders. On paper they are so talented, but the record does say who they are. Who's to blame yesterday for this Raiders collapse? The Jaguars come back and win this game.
Like I say, if you want to blame this defense, you can blame this defense. This defense was up 17-7, and this defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. But like I say, I mean, I said this multiple times. Like when you, it's like a little hint. When someone shows you who they are, you supposed to believe them. You supposed to believe when someone tells you and shows you who they are. You supposed to believe who they are. And again, that's just who the Raiders are. They are talented on paper, but a bad football team. That's just who they are. Josh McDaniel track record shows up again. He's a good offensive core. He's good hiding behind Bill Belichick, but it's not a good head coach. That's just who he is. And Derek Carr and Devontae Adams called him out yesterday. So it's a lot of turmoil going on in the locker room. I can tell you that. It's a lot of dysfunctional stuff going on in the locker room that's not coming out. Josh Jacobs, 17 carries, 67 yards. They stopped giving him the ball. He's the only reason they got the 2 wins this year. Anyway, he's been the carrot in this defense. Something got to give with this defense. This secondary ain't good either. This defense not good. They're not getting pressure. Trevor Lawrence was in the pocket comfortable yesterday. It's all over the place. I mean, Devontae Adams had a great game. He didn't have a catch in the first half. So Hunter Winthrow has regressed. Darren Waller doesn't want to play for the football team anymore. He's out. He's out every time. He's so busy with Kelsey Plum and his mental issues. He doesn't want to play with this team anymore. It's just an absolute dumpster fire. I mean, this team is a 2-16. And when someone shows you who they are, you're supposed to believe it. And this is what the Raiders are. They're a bad football team. That's what they are at the end of the day.
I was going to say the absolute same thing Coach Dante said. Josh McDaniels have hid under Bill Belichick, but when Bill Belichick isn't there, He do not he have not created no success on any terms with the NFL of being a head coach. You have Derek Carr, who I believe this will be his last season in Vegas. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing that showed me that he was willing to go out and get Devontae Adams is that you're showing that you want to win now, and that put pressure on Derek Carr because like, hey, Derek Carr, if you're not willing to, hey, we're ready to win. It's all up on you. We put all the load on you, and you come out and you guys don't look good at all. Devontae Adams don't look good at all at times, and a lot of that might not be on him because who's throwing the football, but and sometimes it's because they're forcing you the football. A lot of times they're going to you at times when they shouldn't. The same problem they had in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers would force feed the ball to Devontae Adams, but at the end of the day, um, the Raiders just got a lot of more distraction. They have a lot of going on, and it's just not a good football team. Josh McDaniels isn't the answer clearly, and it need to be a shakeup. Things need to. They need to. I believe it's time to move on from Derek Carr
At
and
the
Josh
very
McDaniels.
least, I'll say at the very least, don't let Josh McDaniels back in the building. At the end of the day, when I looked at the game, I saw that too, coach. I saw that 17 rushes for Josh Jacobs. What does that tell me? It tells me that when it was time in the second half to run down the clock, control the game, and control the clock, you didn't do it. And to me, that's just poor execution. That's poor coaching. That's poor game planning. So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that they don't have other issues besides Josh McDaniels, but I think it's the coaching staff, and I think it's just you got to get a new coaching staff in there because I do think this team has all the talent in the world still. It's not like they don't are lacking skill position or skills at the they're not lacking, great players at the important skill positions, but at the end of the day, the coaching staff just isn't using them at all correctly.
Yeah, I want to throw one more thing in this regarding it, but I don't know if, like I say, I know Raider Nation didn't want him as a head coach, but think about it. I'm picking back off what Gene said in the comment section. Rich Pisaccia got them into a playoff, and the players respected him so much. He wrote letters. He wrote a letter to everybody in that locker room, telling them how much he respect them, how much he care for that team. And he's not even on the coaching staff. He's not even on the coaching staff at all for these players. So I started to think, how about Rich Pisaccia last year should have been considered? I'm not saying he should have been a head coach because a lot of people don't think he should be a head coach in this league, but you never know. It probably could have worked out because the players respecting him so much. I mean, again, they won with him. He gave them positive energy. But right now, Josh McDaniels, play calling has been suspect. He went away from what was working. That was with Josh Jacobs. Darren Waller doesn't even want to play football anymore. So you got no leadership in the locker room at all. And now he's been blamed. Derek Carr and Devontae Adams has blamed all on Josh McDaniels, and it's very much Josh McDaniels is the head of this struggle. But you can go with this defense as well. Patrick Graham, this defense has regressed. This defense is not good at all. The secondary is absolute trash. They have given up a lot of yards, and it's all over the place. And something is going on in the locker room. It's so dysfunctional, and it just really everything hasn't came out yet. This is a contract year for Josh Jacobs. He is carrying this team, and you don't even get him the football. You don't even get him the football. And they went away for what was working, and that's on Josh McDaniels from going away what has working, and instead of what has not working, putting the football in the air has not really worked out. Only to Devontae Adams, and rushing the ball has worked out, and he went away from that.
Dang, Dante, how can anybody follow up on that? Dante spitting all of the facts out. The Raiders got shut out in the second half. They scored nothing in the second half. Nothing. So you can say the defense was tired. Who's to say? Who knows? But they scored nothing in the second half. That's how that Jacksonville came back. I was like, okay, the Raiders is up. But then I'm like, something gonna happen. And Coach did pick the upset yesterday. He did pick the Jags to beat the Raiders, and Coach has been spot on when it comes to upsets. Last couple weeks. So he's definitely been on point. But Yeah, it's time for McDaniels to go. This might be his one and done year. Josh Jacobs has been playing lights out, and you don't give him the ball. I just don't understand it at all. With the Raiders, with their thought process is, and before they even got McDaniels, like we all know his track record. I don't even know why they even hired Josh McDaniels. Um, so yeah, the Raiders are just a laughing stock right now in the AFC West. I know a lot of people did have them winning that division. And it's the complete opposite right now. So they just got to get it together for some fans be leaving, um, and going to other teams. But that's it for the NFL portion that we have. Um, who was y'all top superstars yesterday besides Joe Mixon? Oh, not Joe. We got one more. I'm sorry. Chicago, even though they lost to Miami, Justin Fields, man, Justin Fields had a field day. Even though they lost, 178 rushing yards um for Fields. Is Chicago gonna be okay moving forward with Justin Fields once they get some pieces around and help him out?
Only way if Chicago's going to protect their young man. That's the biggest question. Are you going to put? I do like the move by bringing Claypool to bring another receiver for him. But yeah, to me, it don't stop there. You continue to put talent around this young man. This young man is a future MVP in our league. We seen it yesterday. He's an up and coming young star. But my question is, will the Chicago Bears team do what's right by him? And to me, by bringing defensive coordinators as the head coaches, is not doing right by Justin Fields at all. Bring in an offensive minded coach into that organization, open up the playbook, use him, utilize him correctly, protect him, and put weapons around him. This young man is a future MVP in this league.
I mean, he's put up some great numbers for the last couple of weeks. He wasn't the reason why they lost to Dallas last week. He put up 29 points. He put up 32 this weekend. He ran the long touchdown run, but you got to basically get him some more offensive line help. Offensive line is still not as good. You got to give him some receiving help as well. Even though they did get Chase Claypool, he hasn't done anything. He still hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything yesterday. So once you get him an offensive line and you get him a decent receiving core, I believe Justin Fields will be fine. He will be straight, and I can see him. He's going to be a superstar in this league. I can already see he's making better decision makings with the football. And this Bears defense is going to be fine. They're going to be pretty good. They got some upcoming pieces. Kyler Gordon, the rookie out of Washington, Jaquan Brisker, the safety, who I'm really high on out of Penn State, the second round pick. This defense is really promising. Even though they did lose Roquan Smith, this defense is pretty promising. So I'm kind of like the direction that the Bears are going in. They're going to be fine, but you still got to get some help for Justin Fields. You got to get him a better offensive line, and you got to get him better help at the receiving position. I believe the running back position is straight with Khalil Herbert and Montgomery. They're straight right there, but you got to give them some weapons. Give them a couple more weapons outside of Darnell Mooney. I don't believe Chase Claypool was the answer, really. Real, I don't believe he's the answer. I'm not high on him. And just, I think Clement, I think you could bother about getting another tight end because Clement has not really stepped up as well. So this Bears team has been promising.
Yeah, I was gonna say that about this Bears defense too. At the end of the day, I think they're just young, and they just got a lot of growing to do. I think they'll end up being a good defense. It might not look it at times this year, but at the end of the day, that's just a very young defense, and I expect them to grow into something very good. They got talent, that's for sure. And yeah, there's no doubt about it. At the end of the day, Justin Fields might end up having to leave Chicago in order to get the proper help that he needs on offense. Their big answer, like you said, was Chase Claypool, and I mean he blew me away yesterday. 2 catches for 13 yards on 6 targets. I don't know how you can't be impressed with that, right? No, I just don't think that they'll do right by him. So I'm very high on Justin Fields. Watching as much as I can, I do think that at worst he'll end up being. I do think that he could very well end up being a top 10 quarterback in this league. I'm that high on him. I do think that he has MVP potential, like Freddie said, but I'm not sure if Chicago is going to give him the weapons in order to fulfill that potential.
I mean, Chicago better give some weapons for that man. There's no, they got 120 some odd $1 million next year. So Chicago better do everything in their power possible to get help for Justin Fields. Because if not, then y'all just failing them at this point. Definitely just failing them at this point.
So yeah, I'll believe they'll help him when I see it. I just don't trust that organization to do anything right on offense at this
You
point.
just talking that way because you're a Packers fan, sir.
Hey, listen, I try to remain on as unbiased as possible, but they've made a lot of questionable decisions with that offense over the last few years. So trying to be as unbiased as possible. I just don't think it's a very well run organization.
And then still Tua still looks good from that. He had that scare with the concussion and him being out. He was smooth sailing yesterday. 21-30, 302, three touchdowns. Jeff Wilson just got there. He contributed. He had a receiving touchdown, I believe. Tyreek Hill, it's gonna be Tyreek Hill, 7 catches, 143 yards. Waddle got involved. I think they're the best two duos right now. Waddle and Tyreek Hill, in my opinion, the best duo when it comes to wide receivers. They Waddle has more touchdowns than Tyreek Hill, which is crazy. But they both good. I could definitely see Miami going into the playoffs. They got Bradley Chubb. They defense. Miami is showing that they want to win now. They're definitely showing that they want to win now. All right. So as we move forward to the NBA, and that's all the things that we got for the NFL. Besides Joe Mixon, who's another person who had a stellar game yesterday?
Actually, I was gonna pick Justin Fields, setting the single game rushing record. I think it was for a quarterback. He looked phenomenal yesterday. So I'm gonna go with Justin Fields on this one.
I'm gonna go with the running backs from the Jets. I was really impressed with the running backs from the Jets, Michael Carter and James Robinson. On how, like I say again, they may not got that 100 yards, but to me, it wasn't all about that. It's about how well they ran against this Buffalo Bills defense. You know how hard it is to run the ball against this Buffalo Bills defense yesterday. So I got to give it to both of the running backs, man. Like I say, I got to give credit with credit due. They both did very well yesterday. Michael Carter Hunt 76 yards, 12 carries, and then you had James Robinson 13 for 48. I know it's not the bigger day, but I mean they wooed down his Jets defense. Garrett Wilson also had a solid game, eight for 92. So he's really showing his promising he's really showing his promise as a wide receiver.
All right, so let's get over to the some what I got to do next. Oh, we get to some NBA talk. Um, you all know this off season the Jazz has been on a fire sale rebuilding. We all said, "Oh, the Jazz is going to be poop. They're going to stink it up." But long and behold, they have been playing great basketball right now. The Utah Jazz is, I believe, first overall right now. Well, they got second on here, but I think they're first. 8-3 season right now. No Rudy Gobert. No Donovan Mitchell. Clarkson's still there. No Joe Ingles. How is the Jazz winning these games and surprising everybody?
Well, they still got a good team. They still got a vulnerable team. I mean, like I say, that's why I was said I'm not sold on Minnesota with the deal because to me, it's all about the players that you lost. And they lost Malik Beasley, who can score the basketball, who can shoot also. They lost Kessler, one of them young rookies. They lost Jared Vanderbilt, someone that can play defense and crash the boards. They lost Patrick Beverly, who was good in the locker room for them. That's why I'm not as sold on Minnesota. With the Jazz, they got Kelly Olynyk, who can stretch the floor. They got Lowry Marketing, who's turning in, who all of a sudden is a superstar over there in Utah. Not saying he's a superstar in the league. He's not no superstar in the league, but he's playing like a stud over there since he got to Utah, and he's getting a lot of more touches. He's the best player on the Utah team right now. You got Michael Conley, a veteran point guard. who's been in the league, can still get you 15 points a game. And you got Colin Sexton, who's a young bull over there, 22 points last night against the Los Angeles Clippers. So you got some guys on that team that can put the ball in the basket. And I like what Utah is doing right now. And I like their defense. I like what the coach is doing. Do I think they're going to keep it up all season long? Absolutely not. But this is a good start for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think what helps them a lot, it's helping them right now is they're just being very unselfish with the basketball. They're averaging the eighth most passes in the NBA right now. So I think that's helping them a lot. Laurie Markkinen has been fantastic. He's averaging 21 and almost 10. He's almost averaging a double double. So that, to me, that's just a lot of ball movement and just unselfishness, just creating the best looks possible for everyone on offense. And on defense, they've also been stout. They have like the eighth best defense. That's really been the surprise for me since they got rid of Gobert. I don't think that'll hold all year, but at the end of the day, I think it's just unselfish play, and their defense has been much better than advertised when without Gobert. So
Yeah, Markland is back to being his old, self again. When he first came in, he was crazy balling. Now he's averaging almost 22 points a game. Where was this Lauren Marketing at before? What team was he on before? Before he got traded?
He was on Cleveland.
He couldn't. You're right. He couldn't do this with Cleveland. Cleveland is too much ball to go around. But he's definitely showing out in Utah. Um, he's killing over there. Almost 22 points a game, almost 10 rebounds a game. Conley's averaging 7 assists a game. They got Vanderbilt, which is a very underrated player that, the trade with Minnesota. Like Dante said, Minnesota gave up a lot of people um, and a lot of, uh, draft picks to get Rudy Gobert. And Utah's going to be in the driver's seat because they got a lot of picks that they can deal with in the upcoming years to help out the franchise. So who's to say we see Utah get past maybe the second round, maybe to the second round because they've always been a regular season team and get to the playoffs and stink it up.
I was going to say something about Laurie Markin, and the reason why he's much better here than in Cleveland. I think the biggest difference is he's not miscast as a small forward. He was a decent small forward, but at the end of the day, he should be closer to the basket, working from the inside out. He, I think he's better at the 4 or the 5. So I think he was just not. He did well at the 3, but he shouldn't be a full time small forward.
All right. So yeah, definitely the Jazz is definitely underrated right now, and they're continuing to win games. What's going on with the Warriors?
There's a lot going on with the Golden State Warriors right now. They're just not playing well, man. They're just not playing well. They're just not playing well basketball right now. The defense is not as good. The defense is not as been good. That's not Warriors basketball that you used to seeing. Um, they gave up 114 points to the New Orleans Pelicans, who's a very good team. The ball movement has not been as consistent as you've seen it. It's been individual basketball, but again, at the end of the day, I still think the Warriors are gonna fight through this. They're like I say, they remind me. The Warriors remind me of my Houston Astros. When they go through adversity, they know how to find a way to break. They got the players to find a way to snap up out of it. Right now, everything is not clicking right now. Draymond Green can't score on the offensive side of the ball, but they need to play better defense. They need to give better effort. They need to get better energy. And right now, it's not happening. And I'm not seeing that same ball movement that the Warriors have been able to have. And Andrew Wiggins is out with a foot injury as well. He's been out. That kind of hurt him a little bit. And they're not making shots. So other than that, I don't think it's too much of a concern for me. I think they're straightening up, but they're not looking good. And the defensive intensity, the energy, the ball movement has not been around, and they have not made the shots that they usually are making.
I was going to say for that defense, you can look back to the 2 players that they lost this past offseason. Gary Payton going to the Blazers really killed them. He was such a phenomenal on ball defender, containing that ball at the point of attack. And also Otto Porter, he was very flexible in that defensive scheme. He could slide through and play the 4 and the 5 and small ball 5. So I think the issue is you thought you could just straight up replace him with Dante DiVincenzo and all these young guys, Kaminga, Moody, and it just hasn't worked out so far. I see them figuring out their defense at some point. I think it'll click, but as of right now, that I think they're just still trying to get used to not having an on-ball defender like Gary Payton out there and not having someone as versatile as Otto Porter was for them last year. They're still guys are just trying to adjust to their new roles. And yeah, it not as much ball movement it seems, and I don't like what I'm seeing too from James Wiseman. He has threat as a roll man, but that's it. Sometimes his body language just isn't good. Like I remember seeing the clip from when he didn't get the ball a couple times from Curry, and he's almost pouting there on the low block. Like I do agree with Anthony here. I do think they'll be fine in the long run. I just think it's just growing pains for a lot of young players that they're relying on.
Because we definitely not used to seeing the Warriors act like this. But yeah, I still think at the end of the day, we're still going to see them in the playoffs, the defending champs. Um, will they win it? And time will tell. But yeah, they'll definitely be fine. With the Warriors. Philadelphia 76ers, they are 4-6 right now, and Harden will be out for at least a month. To I think it's a tendon in his foot. Um, right now. So who has to step up while Harden is out on the Sixers team?
Um, I think when it comes to Harden being out, I think Tyrese Maxey has to step up, which he's been doing a fine job all year. So I think he'll end up stepping up. I think Joel Embiid will definitely have to come back. I know he's been out with an illness. I think that's part of the reason why they're going through a rough stretch right now. Is I think last game when they played the Knicks, they didn't have either Harden or Embiid, and that's just tough to win. And they only lost by 2. But I just at the end of the day, they just got to make sure that they're still creating good looks for themselves. That's one thing that without Harden is that I actually just researched this yesterday. Without Harden last year, they shot it was like 35%, and they were 40% with Harden from 3 on and off the court there last year. So I think the big thing that they got to do is Maxey's got to step up and become a great. Maxey's got to step up, and at the end of the day, they just got to make sure they're still creating efficient looks for themselves, which sometimes without Harden on the court, they struggle to do.
I think, like Anthony said, Tobias Harris, if he can step up a little bit more, it will be fine. Because guess what? More touches for Tobias Harris now since Harden and Joel Embiid is out. You got more touches now. Now you're no longer playing fourth fiddle to this team no more. So you're gonna have Maxey. He's averaging 25 points per game right now. As I look at it, shooting 78% from the free throw line, but now Tobias Harris, more touches for Tobias Harris. I think he's going to be the key. He's got to be the one to step up. You got to get more bench production out of your bench as well. Montrezl Harrell did play great. Did play a pretty solid game. Play a solid game against the New York Knicks, but you need the bench to step up, but you're definitely going to need Tobias Harris step up. He should be that second option now with Harden and Embiid out.
Yeah, I think that's a good point about Tobias. The issue is I think they've been looking for more from him since he signed that new deal, like Kyle just said. So at the end of the day, I'm not sure if we can expect too much more from Tobias Harris.
Most definitely. Tobias got to be Tobias, like AC said. Yes, I told you we got to get this trending. We got to get this trending. Fire Doc Rivers. Fire now. It's time to go. It's time to go. Let's get it trending on Twitter. Fire Doc Rivers. I think it's time for Sam Cassell to take over. I think he's more than qualified. He's more than capable. He has a relationship with the team already, especially Tyrese Maxey. Why not let him take over? Shoot, have Dan Burke take over. Dan Burke went 3-0 when Doc was out with the COVID restrictions last year. So why not? I just feel like Doc Rivers is not taking accountability of anything right now. He's not saying, "Oh, we got to go out there and be better," or "We got to do this." He's not saying anything. And I don't know what the issue is with Joel Embiid. I don't know if that plantar fasciitis was more than what they told us. I know he wasn't in shape, so I don't know if that's been the issue. But he's going to have to play basketball too at some point. Um, so yeah, we can all we can put the blame on Joel, but he's not healthy right now, so we can't really say it's Joel Embiid. But we need more production from the bench. And lastly, but not least, Doc Rivers got to go. So that's
Mike D'Antoni, the next head coach for the Philadelphia
Dante,
76ers.
don't do that. Do not
Watch,
do
I'm
that.
telling you, I'm telling you, after this season, Mike D'Antoni is the new head coach for the Philadelphia 76ers. Watch, I'm telling you.
Dante, don't do that. I'm gonna fly down. I'm gonna fly down to Houston myself. If that happens, we don't need D'Antoni. We have a team that plays defense, and bringing him in there, the defense will go right out the door. Because then
You'll be flying to the wrong state. He ain't even in Houston.
no, I'm talking about for you.
Oh, I'm be gone. I'm be gone. Man. I'm already been beat you to the punch.
I say as soon as the hiring's announced, Dante's on the next flight out.
Oh yeah, man. Exactly. We like defense in Philly. AC, tell them we do not need no Mike D'Antoni. Freddie gonna say Steve Nash. What? We don't need Steve Nash either. Get out of here. Shoot, I can coach better than Steve Nash.
I do agree with one thing that was said there too. I think they had a great offseason this past offseason, but I do think the front office for the 76ers can be an issue at well. Overpaying Doc. I mean, yeah, overpaying Doc, overpaying Tobias. There was that old Al Horford experiment. So they did do well this past offseason. I do like the signings that they made. I think it'll take some time for them to get adjusted, but I do think the front office, for the most part, has been quite the issue.
Yeah, I don't know. Daryl Morey's trying to turn the Sixers into the Rockets. I mean, all we was missing was what Eric Gordon. But I still think some things could be done in the off season, maybe by trading deadline. Who's to say nobody else will be here by that time? Harden to be back. I know right now we 4-6 on the outside looking in, but I still think the Sixers are a playoff team. Would they be a high seed? No. I already said we was going to be what 5, and then the way the East is playing right now, shoot, we may not even be that. Boston, I mean not Boston. Boston is playing well as well, but the Bucks are still undefeated right now. Did we just forget about Milwaukee? Did we just forget about Milwaukee right now? They are playing lights out, and they won without Giannis.
Say undefeated, and we're still missing 3 out of our 5 best 3-point shooters, and none of them are bad defenders that we're missing either. You can argue Joe Ingles is a bad defender, but at the end of the day, yeah, that Bucks team is the team to beat right now.
Who's beating the Bucks right now, Dante?
Nobody. Nobody that I know of right now can beat them. But I say you can take Giannis off of the Bucks, they still can be a playoff team. Mm-hmm. So all the narrative, see, I hate narratives when people bring up you take this person off of this team, they're not good. You take Joel Embiid off the 76ers, how good are the 76ers could be? They can still probably be a fringe playing team, but the Bucks can be a playoff legit team. They can be a playoff legit team, actually. Without Chris Middleton, without Giannis, they won't be a finals team, but they'll be a legit playoff team. You go back at when they won that championship. Giannis was out 2 games. The Bucks won 2 games because of Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. They won 2 games, and they made it to the finals pretty much without Giannis those 2 games. So you got players and guys that can hold the fort down till Giannis get back. So now you got Giannis in there. You don't have a Middleton. And hey, everything is still clicking, but you got guys like Bobby Portis who can bring the energy. You got Brook Lopez, who's averaging 17 points per game. He's been a big plus. Man, like I say, you got Nawara can come off the bench and shoot the basketball. You got all of these different role players and these different pieces that can help you out, man. And all of these 3-and-D guys, that fits right into the mode of what Mike Budenholzer wants to do. So, injury or not, you got guys that can pick up each other, pick up the slack, and everybody knows Chris Middleton is the guy that's going to get the ball down the stretch when you need a big shot. Giannis is that, and he understands that role. So again, without even if they didn't have Giannis, they still will be a playoff team. They will make an actual playoff. They won't make the play. They will make the actual playoff. So the Bucks is the team to beat in this league, and that shows how much depth they got when you got Giannis and Middleton out, and you still can win a ball game.
I was gonna say the X factor so far for me for the Bucks and almost always has been it was Brook Lopez. You mentioned those two games we won without Giannis in 2021 against Atlanta. True, that game 5, leading scorer Brook Lopez with 33, he decimated the Hawks front line without even taking a single three. And we're seeing it again. He has averaging 17, but this year the biggest thing is he's shooting 36% from three. So his three ball's falling. So to me, that's been like the biggest X factor right now is how well Brook Lopez is playing.
That man, just something about that Bucks team, and whoo, I gotta watch them beat the Sixers on the 18th.
P, you
um,
ready for that one? You ready for that game?
huh?
You ready for that one?
Oh God, I'm not, but yeah, I gotta stream that game on the 18th. That's going to be fun. Um, but again, a lot of good games going on tonight. It's funny because everybody in the NBA is playing tonight, um, as well. And we have one more thing for the NBA. Is Westbrook finally embracing his role now? Because he's not surprised since they moved him to the bench. He has actually been playing pretty well regardless if the team's winning or not. But Westbrook is actually looking like Westbrook. So is he embracing his role?
Yep, I mean, I guess he went on and embraced this role. He went on and did it. But he's been playing well though. He's been playing well. He's been scoring. He scored one night. He scored 26. Last night he scored 18. He's been embracing it pretty well. Still getting at least 5 or 6 assists a game. I believe just like the Lakers team is just overall a bad basketball team. They can't stay in front of nobody. They're not a good defensive team. They don't have enough shooting on that team to compete right now. And right now, man, Westbrook, you can't blame it on Russell Westbrook. He's been good. He's been fantastic since coming off of the bench. So I think he has accepted, and he's doing a little better of buying in. He's doing a little better of buying in, and he's been actually good. He's been actually good. So got to give Russell Westbrook the credit. I think he's comfortable now coming off the bench.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Russell Westbrook has always had the need to be like a number one guy, and he was never going to get that in the starting lineup with LeBron and AD. So I do agree. This is just not a good basketball team. LeBron, AD, and Russ all, at least offensively, they all played well on against the Cavs. LeBron 13 of 23, Davis 7 of 12. You know, like you mentioned, Russ was 6 of 13 for 19 points, and it still wasn't enough. This team just isn't deep enough to make a run or anything. But as far as Russell Westbrook, on the bench, he's been good ever since going to the bench. That's for sure.
Yeah. I know they lost to the Cavs the other last night. But Westbrook still has been putting up between 15 and 20 points since he's been coming off the bench. I know they lost to the Cavs by 14, but Westbrook was he played 32 minutes. He was 6 of 13, 3 from 5 from 3, 3 rebounds. He had 10 assists and 19 points.
What I didn't like about that Lakers game yesterday was Troy Brown Jr. can't be taking as many shots as Anthony Davis. They both had 12. Like, to me, that's just not a recipe for success there.
All right. So what player has been surprising y'all so far? Um, I might steal Dante's answer here, but I'm gonna go with Pablo Bencaro over there with the Magic. He's been balling over there. Definitely a great fit for Orlando. Maybe if they get some more of Orlando, get some more stars over there, maybe they can possibly do something. But Pincheiro's been playing great.
Well, it wasn't my. Well, you. Well, I have. He was one of the candidates, but I always got a backup plan. Lowry Marketing has been awesome for the Utah Jazz this year. Like I say, man, he's playing like a borderline all star. He's been really good playing his role, playing his role. So making shots, he's getting a lot more touches because he's not around Evan Mobley. He's not around Darius Garland or Kevin Love or none of that. He's he's playing like a number one guy on the Utah team. So I'm gonna take Lowry Marketing. But you did take one of the candidates I was gonna go
Mhm.
with, but I also had a backup candidate just in case that.
All right, Brett, what about you?
I say, actually, Coach, you did the same thing. You stole one of my candidates. I was going to mention Laurie Markkinen, but I still had a couple other names I wanted to throw out there. To me, Kevin Love off the bench for the Cavaliers. Dude's in the running for six man of the year. He's been phenomenal off the bench for Cleveland. Dude looks rejuvenated since he's finally playing again for a winning Cavaliers team. So I wanted to say, great, Kevin Love good looks great. But another name I wanted to throw out there was SGA on the Thunder. SGA is giving you 32 a night. He's looked good so far. So that's my pick so far. I knew SGA was going to be good, but I didn't expect him to get off to this hot of a start.
All right. And then we are going to move into MLB, and then that might take us into 12 o'clock to end it there. As you all know, the world champs is the Houston Astros. Their parade is today. They did beat the Phillies in the World Series, 4 games to wait, yeah, 4 games to two. Um, and they took the World Series. Shout out to Dusty Baker for finally winning as a coach. Um, so shout out to the Houston Astros there. But Edwin Diaz just signed a major deal to stay with the Mets, a 5-year deal. Um, is he the best closer in MLB right now?
Yeah, last year he was the best closer in the MLB. I had considered what you call it the best closer of the MLB, one of the best closers, Josh Hader, until he fell off a cliff actually. But yeah, you got to lock him up. He was the best closer last year. He has electric stuff, electric fastball. I'm glad Happy he got his money. We're gonna see what free agents are gonna sign today. They can sign their deals today. It will be official on the 10th, though. It will be actually official on the 10th. So I can't wait to see what moves that the Phillies and see if the Astros, I mean, are going to make because Trey Mancini can be a free agent for us. You got Verlander; he's going to be a free agent for us. So it'll be interesting to see what moves and what deals we're going to make. Christian Vasquez also a free agent for us this year. So it's gonna be interesting to see what teams make the most moves. And Aaron Judge is gonna be interesting to see where he gonna end up. But yeah, the man's doing a great job of locking up Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz just yesterday, and he deserves his money. He deserves it.
Yeah, I was going to say congrats to Dusty Baker too. I'm not sure if you can think of another guy in the MLB that deserves a ring more than Dusty did. So I'm definitely happy about that. But yeah, Edwin Diaz not only was he the best closer, he definitely deserves the money. It also goes a little off the field because I don't think I don't think it's tough to think of another player that gets the crowd more hyped than when Diaz's music starts playing when he's leaving
I,
the bullpen.
exactly. When they
And
did that joint live, that was tough. I'm like I said, I'm a Philly fan, but I couldn't hate on that.
yeah, and at the end of the day, these players they'll feed off the crowd. So I think that even that helps too in the fact that all right, at the end of the day, you have this guy. If you throw him in, the crowd's going to get excited. It's overall that normally helps elevate your team there. So yeah, I think it was good on the field and also good for the locker room, good for the morale, and just good for the people of New York. I think they would have probably been very upset if they let him walk. So
Yeah, most definitely. Edwin was the is let me bring up the details here exactly what his contract is. I know he is going to be a Met for a minute. Um,
I think it was 5 years, 102 million, no trade clause, and like a team option for the last year.
oh man, yeah, he's. We just got some breaking news. Frank Reich has been fired. Frank Reich is out as the coach for the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, I know my boy JDW happy about that. I know he got to be happy about that. He got to be happy about that.
So that is coming in from Adam Schefter. The Colts have fired Frank Reich. We know it was coming. It was coming. Frank Reich compiled a 40-33 record as a coach. As head coach, he took a job in 2018 after Josh McDaniels opted out of it. Um, so yeah, so we don't know who's going to take over now, but Frank Reich is gone. Um,
Yep.
so we'll see where the Colts is going to do moving forward. Hopefully they don't bring Matt Ryan back.
He said Matt
But
Ryan back.
I said hopefully they don't bring Matt Ryan back.
Yeah.
Nah,
But
Colts front office will just trade for Aaron Rodgers. You got to get a new veteran in there.
oh Lord. Like I don't
Golly.
understand like why they want some veterans. Like you got these young guys, groom them. So, but that's always been the Colts mo. Well, let's go get Philip Rivers. Let's go get Matt Ryan. Um, let's go get such and such. So two coaches has already been fired, and it's only November 7th. Matt Rule and Frank Reich is your second coach that's been
Cliff
canceled.
Kingsbury is going to be the next target. Watch. Cliff Kingsbury. Keep that in mind. Cliff Kingsbury is going to be next.
So
I wouldn't
hopefully,
be I wouldn't be shocked if McDaniel goes.
I was just about to say, hopefully for the Raiders fans, Josh McDaniels is showing the door next too.
But
Cliff Kingsbury is going to be the next one to get going to get that pink slip.
but Colts fans, I know y'all happy. I know a couple of them. I know y'all jumping for joy right now. Frank Reich is gone. Um, and a few weeks ago, owner Jim Irsay considered Frank Reich safe. Now a new head coach and no OC. So yeah, it's going to be a time for it's a time to be a Colts fan right now. So going back to the MLB, and again we're going back to the World Series, but this is more like a Phillies question. What was the struggle for the Phillies the most in this whole World Series? Was it pitching, defense, or offense?
Now it was the offense. It was mostly the offense. Noah struggled dramatically, and you remember Key when I brought it up. If the Astros tax Noah, the Astros are going to win. That's how the Astros are going to take control of the series. If the Astros can tax Noah for a second time, they definitely did. They definitely did. So he struggled, but it was more on the offense, chasing bad pitches. Reese Hoskins, like we was talking about last night in the World Series celebration stream that I had. Shout out for everybody that attended. He was waiting so hard for that ball to be a double, and he put his hands on his knees. He was already beat. He was already defeated. Next pitch, strikeout looking. Like I say, the pitching, I thought it was okay, but soft Aaron Noah. Wheeler was good. Wheeler was good in the last game. It's just Rob Thompson made the biggest mistake in the World Series. You put Alvarado in the game. Now, I understand lefty versus lefty matchup, but Yordan Alvarez has hit 299 against lefties all season long. He is batting over 300 against a right-handed batter. So that shows you he can hit both of them. He has no problem hitting both of them. Once he got down in the count 2-1 with the with Jose Altuve on third and Jeremy Payne on first. Once he got down 2-1, he threw that fastball right over the middle. I knew it was gone soon as he hit it. And you have to have some crazy power to hit it to center field in the Astros Stadium, and that's what Yordan Alvarez did. I think the hitting struggled dramatically after game one and game two. I thought the hitting struggled dramatically, chasing bad pitches, not working the counts. I think the hitting struggled dramatically after game one and game two.
I'll
After
say,
I mean after game one and game three, my bad. After game one and game three, I thought the hitting struggle after that.
yeah, I'll say that reflected in the batting average. They, as a team, I remember seeing it was in the last game about right before it ended. They posted a stat that at the time that they were 30 for 186 in the World Series, a 161 batting average, and they had set the record for the most strikeouts in a World Series. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, it just comes back to poor hitting.
The Phillies definitely couldn't get nothing done on the offensive side. That one game it was a home run derby, and we couldn't get nothing else. We couldn't play small ball. I just feel like when those little singles and doubles was needed and just regular base hits would hit guys on, we could not get it. We was trying. It looked like we was just waiting for the home run hit. Um, and runners in scoring position. We was horrible. Couldn't capitalize. One, I forget what game it was. We had the bases loaded. Couldn't bring nobody home. I think it's Reese. It was Castellanos that struck out. I don't know what's going on with Castellanos. He swings at everything. He's not patient. When I was reading, they were saying Kevin Long, the hitting coach, fixed everybody else on the team but Castellanos. So is he going to be an issue moving forward?
I think he got some tools. I think he got still got some tools, man. I think he like I say, it's just his ability to swing at terrible pitches. Him not working the counts as much. I know the last time, he was on the not the last time, but I know he was at when he was at the batter's box. It was a ball on the inside, so it should have been a walk. But at the same time, when you're swinging at everything, when you're being aggressive, you're not going to get the benefit of the call, which was a good pitch by Varmer Valdez on that pitch. But at the end of the day, you got to be more patient with the. You got to be more patient at the plate. You can't be too aggressive, and that's you don't get those calls when you're being too aggressive and just swinging at anything. But he, like I say, against the Cincinnati, when he was with Cincinnati Red, he was a high 300 average hitter. He had 30 hit 34 home runs for them. So he showed some tools to have a lot of power. It's just he progressed this year, and most of that because his strikeout rate was so high. He's got to focus on making better contact and working the counts a little bit more.
Brett, do you think Castellanos is going to be an issue moving forward?
No, I I can't really say much more than what Dante said. In all reality, I think that it's just a more of an issue. He's just got to be more patient and just pick his spots better.
And definitely Reese Hoskins. This might be his final year. Because the way Philly fans dragged Reese Hoskins into the dirt. With his defensive issues and regular routine balls that he didn't grab. But hopefully we'll see with off season coming up. Maybe they can get more starting pitching. The bullpen actually wasn't bad. Maybe get some more relievers. Maybe another uh skill position guy. We'll definitely find out. Um, and my last topic here, um, which team will have the biggest pickup this offseason, you think? Who's in line for that big payday? Will somebody be the sweepstakes of the Aaron Judge, or will Judge stay in with New York with the Yankees? Will he go to the Mets? Who you think is going to be the big season team that gets somebody?
Uh, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go with. I'm gonna go with a person not named Aaron Judge because I think he's gonna get the most money. He wants all his money, but you got to look at it. Look at this. If he doesn't get his money right away, he may be gone. But I'm gonna go outside of Aaron Judge. I'm not going. We know he's gonna get the most. I'm gonna go Carlos Correa and Trey Turner. I think they're gonna get the bag. I think those two are gonna get the bag. Whatever team that they go to, I think those two is gonna get the bag. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Carlos Correa and Trey Turner outside of Aaron Judge.
Brett?
Yeah, I think it's tough to disagree with that. Carlos Correa, Trey Turner, and Xander Bogaerts is a free agent too. A lot of talent coming up at the middle infield there. I think Jacob DeGrom is also going to get a bag. I know he's dealt with an injury history, so it might be like a shorter term contract, but I do really think at the end of the day he'll still get a lot of money. It just might be shorter term than we think.
So a lot of these teams that we see now, where you think they get broken up, you think they're going to come back, you think they're going to add more pieces.
Well, I think the Red Sox are going to be broken up. I don't think JD Martinez will be with them. Xander Bogaerts is going to go. I think he's gone. I think the Red Sox are going to go fully rebuild. Now the Yankees, I don't think Rizzo is going back. I think Rizzo is going to get the bag. That's another guy that's out there at first base. I think he's going to go. I don't think the Yankees going to pay him. Going to pay him because you got to pay Aaron Judge. You got to pay Aaron Judge. So I think the Yankees are going to let him walk. I'm going to let Anthony Rizzo walk, and he's going to get paid somewhere else. Look for a team like my Astros to continue to get better. To continue to get better. I mean, the Phillies, they can get better. They can continue to get better. The Milwaukee Brewers, I think they need some help as well. Far as look at Brett. They should have. That should have been the actual team that made the playoffs. But since they couldn't win anything, they couldn't beat the Marlins. They could not beat the Marlins at all. And the Phillies were struggling down the stretch. And if they would have find a way to beat the Marlins, they would have been in the actual playoff. Now I don't know if they would have been in the World Series, but they would have been in the actual playoffs instead of the Phillies. And unfortunately, the Phillies got helped out because the Brewers couldn't win anything. Christian Yelich kind of had a down season, not the same MVP season, but the Brewers definitely need some help on that side. They can get better. But Aaron Judge, watch out for him. I'm going to give you a wild card team. The St. Louis Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals could be a wild card team. And the San Francisco Giants, they are planning to get this dude out of the Yankees. And if he goes, the Yankees are in trouble. The Yankees are going to be in trouble if that dude goes. And that, you know what that means, right, Key? The Astros have officially broken the New York Yankees if he goes.
That is definitely true. I see Otani leaving too, like Damien said. One of the things I agree with Damien. Trust me, it's not too many of them, but I can definitely see Otani going somewhere. Somebody's going to pay the sweepstakes for Otani. Where do you think? Who's? I know everybody's going to try to bite, but what's the perfect fit for Otani? What team?
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind for the Milwaukee Brewers to take him if they can get him. A pitcher, you can get a pitcher. You can get a pitcher and you can get a hitter. But I don't know how much that salary cap Brett will only have the answer for that because he's a Milwaukee Brewers fan. The San Francisco Giants, he can stay on the West Coast in the NL, and him and Otani and Aaron Judge are good friends too. So you can straighten up that organization with that move. And yes, Damien, and damn sure ain't the White Sox. Abreu, he's a free agent too. He can be another guy that's on that market that can help a team out at first base as well. So yeah, I'm going with the think the Milwaukee Brewers will have a shot, but I'm going to go with the Giants or St. Louis. Or look for a team like a LA team that can be in the mix with the money or with the bag right there. So that can kind of help them out too. But it damn sure won't be the White Sox, Damien. My bad. I just have to chunk that at you.
I was gonna say I do agree that the Brewers would be a great fit for him. They could absolutely use him. I think the only reason we won't is I don't think we'll pay him because we're already paying Yelich a lot of money. So our owners have always kind of tended to be more on the cheap side. So I was even shocked that we paid Yelich all that money in all reality. So I do like the Brewers as a fit. I'm just not sure if we'll do it because we'd actually have to pay him then. But no, absolutely. I think the LA teams are just a threat. I think when you look at somebody like Otani, you kind of gotta look towards LA or some of these bigger markets, and I think LA is the biggest threat because not only do you have a big market that you can pay him, you're actually the closest to his hometown there in Japan. You keep him near Japan, and it's not a far flight from California. So I think one of the LA teams like the Dodgers will be a real big threat to get him. Maybe not the Dodgers, but I do think LA and the West Coast. I think that's where he'll end up.
So it looks like they already have a trade already in the MLB. It said the Braves will acquire outfielder Sam Hilliard from the Rockies in exchange for right-handed pitcher Dylan Sprain. Um,
Okay. Sam Hilliard, a pretty good lefty at bat to have in the lineup. All right.
so that did happen, but it is free agency starting on Thursday for MLB. So a whole bunch of people's uh notifications will be going on. Um,
I have mine on.
yeah, it's definitely ours is going to be on definitely. See what the MLB shakes up, see who gets better, see who doesn't. Um, just always a good time of year. Um, I think Aaron Judge is going to wait. He's going to be like Kawhi Leonard. Remember when everybody was trying to figure out where Kawhi Leonard was going to go? Remember, it was like three people that needed to sign. I forget who they were, but Kawhi Leonard was like the last to tell us where he was going. That's what Aaron Judge is going to do. I don't think he's going to know right away. Um, if I had to be a betting person, which I stink at it, this is probably why I don't really bet like that. I don't think he's going back to the Yankees. If he goes to the if he doesn't, I think Rizzo then stays. I think Rizzo will come back.
It probably enticed them to bring him back, but other than that, I think Rizzo's gone. I think Rizzo's gone. He wants them. He wants his money. He already came out and said he wants his bag. So I think someone will be willing to pay him at first base. Hey, if you can't beat him, join him. We would love to
No,
have you,
look,
Anthony Rizzo.
I take Anthony Rizzo. I
Hey,
will take
Anthony
him.
Rizzo, Yuli Duriel is hurt. Guess what? Trey Mancini, he may be gone. First base. You can come in and play some first base for the World Series champs, Astros. You can come in and play
Yo,
some
can
first
you
base for them.
imagine? He'll be the Kevin Durant of baseball. Can't beat him, might as well join him.
Hey, might as well. Hey, you ain't gonna beat it. You ain't. It's gonna be a while for you even beat us. We gonna even get it. Even Astros, them Astros gonna even get better.
Mm, mm, mm. But we're gonna wrap things up, guys. Here, almost at the 2 hour mark. But we did pretty good today. Kuz saying give the Rangers some pitching. Um, since they got a new manager over there, you might see some things turning over there for the Rangers over there. We just got rid of we just finished baseball. We already talking about baseball. Now, do I miss baseball? Baseball so dang on long. It's football season is when I get depressed when it's over. So once I know when football season's over, then I know MLB is coming right behind it because that's when spring training is coming. We'll get MLB on time this year. Next year, it won't be no late World Series and everybody trying to cram in games. So it'll be on time this year. But make sure y'all check out these Sports Empire Network. Again, we are live on the Fox D network as well. So we will be streaming the Roku TV, Apple, Amazon. We are all live on there. Make sure y'all follow the social media pages as well: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The links are in the description. Also, if you want some merch for the Sports Empire Network. Make sure you click the descriptions as well. Get you a T-shirt. It is November. It is hoodie season. Depending on what state and region you are in, getting colder, you might need that hoodie to keep you warm a little bit. Because I know here in Pennsylvania, it acts like the weather wants to be like in the 70s right now in November. This pneumonia weather, but um, again, where y'all at, might need a hoodie. So make sure y'all click the merch. The link is in the description as well. And I believe it is 15% off for 2 more days, I believe. So make sure y'all go click on that. Y'all have any last words to say before we get on out of here?
Man, can't wait, man. Been a great show. Can't wait. Um, Go Astros, World 2022 World Series champs, man. But a great, awesome show. Plenty more. Can't wait for many more of these.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, absolutely. It was a great show. Always love working with Dante and Bucks and Six.
So we're of course in college basketball starting back up soon, starting up actually. But I'm gonna be heavy on the women's side. Me and coach, we got some things in the works. um we're gonna be doing some games and things of that. We're gonna be talking about college because we gotta get the girls some love too, because
Yeah,
the girls do not get enough credit when it comes to playing basketball.
yeah.
And we're gonna be WNBA heavy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure y'all tune into that. But we're gonna get on out of here again. Um, Everybody enjoy the rest of the day. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do, and if you gonna do it, just make sure everything is safe about it. All right, guys, we're out of here. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you at. Later.